Village of Heroes.
Hey guys, Yuki here, and we're going to be talking about Marvel vs. Capcom 2. If you're a returning player or just a new player, it's always good to have a refresher class, right? And that's what this is. In this multi-part series, which we're going to be calling Catching Up with Marvel, we're going to be talking about the different parts of Marvel 2 and breaking down how to play. So when you run into your buddy, you're going to be learning how to do that infinite. So let's get started. Let's go. So, now that we're playing Marvel 2, what is Marvel 2? Well, this is what you would call a tag fighter. As you can clearly see on the screen, we have 3 characters. That means you have 3 characters to learn how to play and learn how to combo with these characters. So now that we're done picking our characters, let's move on to the stages. Now we're going to look at this picture here. You see Ryu and Spider-Man. Crazy, right? Who would have thought the master of the fist would be fighting the Spider-Man himself? But let's take a look at our screen. We have the stage, or our background. In the bottom left and right corner, we have our super bars. Now, with every normal match, you will always start off with 1 meter. Every match. The only time you don't is when you're in training mode, because you can set it in training mode. But you have each character's in the top right and top left. You have the name of the character, their icon, and health bar. In the middle, you have the time limit. Every normal match that you're going to do, unless you change the time, will always be at 99. So if it's at 98, someone messed up. So enough with all that boring stuff. Let's get into the real basics of Marvel. So, now that we're learning the basics of Marvel, let's look and see what's the basics. So when you pick your character out of this roster, let's start with Iron Man. You notice that in the bottom left corner that there are 3 assist types. You have type Alpha, type Beta, and type Gamma. Each one provides a different assist. It's in the name, assist. So let's pick all 3 Iron Man. We're gonna have our first Iron Man be projectile type. Let's have our second Iron Man be anti-air type, and our third Iron Man be launcher type. We can do the same thing for our cables, and this is gonna help us see how we can use assists during our matches. So now that we have Iron Man here, he has both his assists, and which his first assist that I picked was the projectile. That's his. Let's look at his other assist, which is his anti-air assist, which would be repulsor blast. Now let's look at the even third one. I would have to switch characters for that, because in Marvel you don't have access to all 3 of your assists at one point in time. One will always be the main point character. So the current assist that I'm playing with the character on screen is this Iron Man, which is the launcher, which you have access to that move. This would be his launcher. So now that we went over assists, let's learn about the characters and how they function within the match. So within Marvel vs. Capcom 2, you have 3 roles your character can fit in. That's assist, battery, or point. Now, if we look at the screen now, we have Storm. Storm is what we consider a battery character. But Yuki, what's a battery character? A battery character is a character that can build meter quickly. Sorry, had a stroke there. And this allows you to do your supers, your THCs, your team attacks, and all that good stuff. She can build up meter quickly with her heavy punch and flight. Her heavy punch builds a lot of meter, as you can see. And couple that with I'm building meter faster with her doing all of that. Now, a point character would be considered well, since we're not talking about point, let's go to Sentinel. Sentinel is your assist character. He has a very good assist. And he has this assist, Rocket Punch. It's a good combo starter, and it allows to keep spacing between you and your character, and he has armor. So he has a really good assist. Even his other assist of having the little mini sentinels fly out are really good. Then we also have Magneto. I don't know why I keep pulling out Sentinel, but we have Magneto. He's a very good point character. This move right here is 1 frame. This is so good because at the start of a match where you get to move, you can start the match off with this crouching low and start your combos off. I'm pretty bad, but with Magneto, I'm still learning, but he's really good. So within Marvel vs. Capcom 2, you have those 3 archetypes that your character can fit in. So let's say you want to build a team. Those are the 3 things you want to keep in mind when building a team. Also, too, I'll be delving into each character and what role they fit into in an upcoming video when I talk more about the intricacies of Marvel. Like, this is the basics, but we're going to talk about more of the advanced stuff in that video. So keep an eye out for that. Hey guys, now that we've talked about the basics of Marvel, we're going to be talking about supers. Now, supers are your ability to allow your character to do a hyper combo, as it's called within Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So what that entails is this. That is called a hyper combo or supers. Each character has at least 3. Some characters have more than 3, but that's what I'll talk about when dealing with that character individually. But right now we're going to focus on Sakura, Ryu, and Ken. Each character has their own different supers, consist of a quarter circle forward, light punch heavy kick, and quarter circle back, and quarter circle heavy light kick plus heavy kick. Each character is different. And the importance of supers is to do a lot of damage to your opponent and give you an advantage. So, since we're in training mode, we can go to the training menu, go to training options, and turn on hyper combo gauge or super gauge. What this is going to allow us to do is get at least all of our supers. It fills you up to max every time you use it. It fills it back up. So as you see at the bottom left and right, now we're at max level. So now we can do an infinite amount of supers. So just to show you what it looks like, if I wasn't so bad, that's one of her supers. Here's her other super. And cool thing about Sakura is she has access to a install super. Now, Yuki, what's an install super? An install super is basically giving your character an extra advantage. So Sakura, amongst other characters, some other characters have what's called an install. So that's this. So to get that, that's a secret super, essentially. So this gives her access to different moves. Her moves do a little bit more damage. And she has a better Hadouken that goes across the whole stage. She also has a new super now. So that new super is Shinku Hadouken, kind of like Ryu's. So that gives her access to an extra super. To get that install, it's, I believe, 3 or 4 bars to use. So it's a commitment. You need to commit with this super. So that's not the only thing supers are used for. Not only can they benefit characters, but they can give you an edge on maybe how you say, let's just say Cable is my opponent's main character, and he's not too good with Iceman. Well, I can switch Cable out. Well, Yuki, what do you mean? How can you switch a character out? It's not like I have access to the controller. Well, with 1 bar, you can switch out that opponent's character, like so. So now Maro, is out. So what that does, what this move does, is it puts a character back on the sidelines and bars that person from using it. So as you see, it's going to have an X over Iceman. So Cable has no access to his supers until it says assist okay. So you can bar somebody from having a great assist. You know, say if they have a Magneto assist or Captain Commando, you can knock Captain Commando out and they're barred from that. They may have to use a less good assist to get you off of them. So, how do I do that? It's the same way you do a super. But if you look at the top left of the screen, you see the R button is set to my assist button. So if I do this, quarter circle forward, assist, it knocks them out. Now obviously you can't really see my notations for it because it's not, for some odd reason, not registering with this controller, but you can see my button inputs. So with supers, it's always going to be 2 inputs of your light punch and heavy punch. Other supers may be light kick, heavy kick. The benefit of a super can also be to snuff out a assist. Say Iceman does his super and I call out Ken, he could hit Ken. I may be blocking, but Ken's taking that damage, which gives Iceman the advantage, and then he can snap me out, forcing Ken to be on the forefront and lose that health and take all that damage that he took with no recoverable health. So that's part 1 essentially of using your supers. Some characters benefit from having multiple supers, some benefit from just having one. It's all how you're going to use it. And we'll talk every character's super when we start to have each character guide, so look forward to that. But now we're going to move on to the last part of the series, or the last part of this tutorial, and that's movement, and see why movement is incredibly important for us to learn. Just as an editor's note, I forgot to put in, another good use for supers is going to be chaining your supers with your team. So team synergy not only lies on how well those characters' assists work together, but also how your hyper gauge combo or your hyper combos or supers work together. So that could look like this, right? Say, for instance, this is my team, Sakura, Ryu, and Ken, as I explained earlier. I do Sakura's install if I was a little bit better. So I do Sakura's install when she gets access down to her Shinku Hadouken. So if you look at on the top left screen, you can see that my inputs. You can't see the directionals, unfortunately. Like I explained earlier, it's not really capturing in my controller. But I'll explain. So I'm doing quarter circle forward, light punch, heavy punch to get Shinku. But Ryu also has the same thing. So that allows me to chain my supers if I was a little bit better. So now I can do the same thing with Ryu. So as you saw, I was able to chain 2 Shinkus together in order to extend the super. So you also have the same thing with Ryu's Hurricane Kick, or his Tamaki Senpuyaku. This allows I can chain that into Ken's. And if I want, chain it into Sakura. So being able to learn your character synergy also relies on how well you can also connect their supers. So see how there I did a super and it didn't register on that because I did Ryu's. I can also do this into Ken's, into if you're a little bit better, you're able to combo into them, you know. So being able to learn how to combo with these characters and other things, I don't really know how to play Sakura that well, I should, will help you as well to be able to manage your team. So learning that super synergy is incredibly important. Guys, now that we've talked about assists, we've talked about the basics, let's talk about one of the final parts and the most important parts of Marvel. And what that part is, movement. So obviously you can move forward, backwards, down, and up. That also consists of what is called a super jump. That's holding down and then hitting up immediately. If I was better, you would have saw it, but it looks like this. Can I get it? Oh no. There you go. That's a super jump. I don't know why I couldn't get it on the first try, but that's what it's called, a super jump. This is very important. Like, you can super jump with certain characters and fly with them. And other things as well. You also have a dash, which can be performed if you look at the left side of the screen where you see my button inputs. Those are my buttons. So you'll be able to see how to perform a dash. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you my directionals, but if you press light punch and heavy punch together, your character will perform a dash. So like so. That is a dash. Now you have what's called wave dashing. Wave dashing can be done without holding any directions and just neutral direction. And just keep hitting heavy punch and light punch. Sometimes you'll mess up the timing, but if you get it good, it'll look like that. But to do it faster, you can hit down after every successful wave dash. So if you hit wave dash and down, you'll begin to do a dash and then hit down. You'll start to do, that's the first part of the wave dash. So after you do dash down, do it again, but do the down input quicker. So do as so. So as you see, I can do it very quickly. And that allows for you to come on your opponent very quickly. This can also be done backwards. To perform a back wave dash, you would have to hold back and the same. You can do it forward and you can also do it backwards as well. So you can mix up your opponent, bring it back, you know, hit him with a wave dash and things like that. But some characters have flight. So that involves Storm. Storm has a flight mechanic. And she can also change how fast and how quickly she hits the ground. But you also have Magneto, who also has a flight mechanic. But he's got what's called a 8-way dash. So I can jump up and do it backwards, up diagonal, up, down diagonal, down, back up, and up. This allows for different movement options. This also helps extend some of his combos. A lot of his infinites begin with that. So if you, just to show you the first part and how flight is important as a movement mechanic, but also as a combo extender, you have part 1 of his infinite, which is this one. I'm better on the left side. Oops. But something like that. If that was a little bit better, I would have been able to show it off just a little bit better. But something like that. It's very hard to do. But something like that. But you can see, like, kind of... There you go. That's, like, his... That's... Combo can only be done through his wave dash. If you see, if I try to move through the air, I can't catch them. But if I do his wave dash, I can catch him on landing, because Magneto is one of the very few characters that can act out of his wave dash. Which is good, because he can mix you up like this and create very good scenarios. So the more you learn of movement options and learn how fast your character dashes, Magneto, like for instance, Magneto, he has a very good wave dash. Or he just has a very good dash in general. You might not even have to wave dash because that's just his regular dash. Look how far that is. That's a full screen dash. So he can do situations like this. Sorry, I'm like severely bad at this game. And cause you to, you know, he can gap close very quickly. So he could have situations like that. I'm almost there. Hello. I'm learning right along with you guys, so that's the beauty of this series. But not to go too long, this is definitely something that you should learn as a Marvel player because it's very important. So that's the movement options, and we're going to be talking about this in the last part.